Is your online persona the same as your like in-person persona? Can they be different or should they be the same? I want to explore that question in my video today as I try to figure out what I'm going to talk about on my YouTube channel. Stay tuned. My name's Bruce, and I believe in the power of sharing the knowledge that I have. And YouTube has been such a great ecosystem for me to learn, and I want to contribute back to that. The idea for this video actually came from a conversation I had with a coworker. And she was saying how someone saw her in public and was like, "You are just like your online persona." And it got me thinking like, oh, like, how would I represent myself online as my persona? Like, what does the persona look like? This coworker went on to say that like her recommendation was that people be intentional about how they want to show up online. And I don't know that I know, like I'm still learning like who I am as a person, let alone my online persona. And I got to thinking, well, what is my persona? Let me go to my notes. First, I want to define what a persona is. According to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, a persona is the personality that a person, such as an actor or politician, projects in public. If my persona is made up of things that I like, it could be junk food, like pizza, and dessert, like yellow cake with chocolate frosting. It could be how I spend my time. A lot of that's work. So I could say I do organizational change management, or that I do project management. Or I could say I'm a musician because I play piano and I used to play other instruments. Or I could say that I'm an athlete because I've run some races and I sometimes like to work out. It's tough to pick a like one persona to land on. And I don't know that you can ever encapsulate everything in one persona. Encapsulate everything in one persona. And as I was thinking about this, it reminded me of something called the Joe Harry window. Joe Harry got its name, one of the guys' name is Joseph and the other guy's name is Harry. And they put together this model, and I think it's like mostly a model for communication. But in this model, there, if you imagine a square, then there's like four smaller squares within it. There's one square that is called the arena. And in the arena, that's like me and you know the same thing. So arena means like it's out in the open. Everything you know, I know. And everything that I know, you know. That's where we have the most trusting, vulnerable, open kind of conversation because there's nothing that's being hidden. Another window is the mask. And so the mask means there are things that I know that you don't know. This comes up commonly when we're dating. At first, we want to make sure we present the best image of ourselves. In an interview, we want to make sure that we present ourselves the absolute best. But we know that there are some things that we are not good at, that we don't share. When they ask the question, what's a weakness? Excuse you, siren. When they ask a question, what's your weakness? You're like, oh, well, my weakness is, I don't know, something you make up. And really you're like, my weakness is sometimes I get fucking tired of talking to people on the phone and they fucking annoy me. You can't say that really in an interview. Maybe you should be able to, I don't know. There's another window of, what's at the top? The blind spot. Blind spot means there are things that, you know, I don't know why I'm scared to film in the condo and I'm like, oh, people are going to hear me. And it's like, well, people are going to watch you on YouTube. I don't know. I'm still getting over that. There's a, the other window is, what is it? There's the mask. Oh, that's the blind spot. That's where you know something that I don't know. A blind spot can be like, I can tell that you have a favorite child, even though you say that you don't. I could tell that you have a preference for male leaders. I could tell that you have a preference for white women, right? Those are things that maybe you don't know that I know. The best part of this square or this window is the fourth, which is the potential. That means that there's something about me or us that you don't know and I don't know. That is the place where you have the greatest amount of potential for things to happen. In negotiation, there's this idea of I can't think of the name, like a black swan moment, I think it's called, where as we're negotiating, there's something that's important to both of us that neither one of us has put on the table because we don't think it's relevant. But when we find out about that thing, we're like, oh my God, and then we can close the deal. Well, that's enough about the Johari window. Let me get back to my content about why I want to, what kind of persona do I want to have on the YouTube channel? And when I think about it, I don't know that I want a persona. At least for these first 10 videos, I want to explore different topics about me. It's been a while since I've really thought through who I am. That sounds weird, but it's the truth. Like, it's been a while, and so I want to take these next couple of videos to explore and reconnect. And one of the challenges I have when I think about my persona for YouTube is that it seems like business, it would be a shoe-in. I love change management. Let me say that differently. I like talking about change management. I like talking about project management. I like talking about organizational psychology. I like to talk about work and what work is like, cultures at work, leadership at work. Like, I like talking about work. But in the past, when I've had podcasts or blogs, I'll stop talking about work and then I'll start talking about my feelings. And I'm like, ugh, I don't want to be one of those people who get on here and it's like, join me on my bad date as I talk about how the guy left me with the check or whatever. But I watch those kind of videos and there's a market for them. And we are emotional beings. Like, I can't separate out like the work part of me from the professional part of me. But I don't know. It's hard for me to stay on one topic because there's so many things that I want to talk about. I want my content to be helpful. Notes. Let me just read this to you. I want my content to be helpful. And I feel like the most comfortable and honest I feel is when I talk about the stuff that's really on my mind. That's true. Sometimes that is related to setting up a project schedule. Sometimes it's about how to get more people involved in a change. Sometimes I want to talk about the difference between management and leadership. Sometimes I want to talk about classical music and how certain pieces of music make me feel. Sometimes I want to talk about an article I read or a show I watched or a podcast I listened to. I just read a Harvard Business Review article that had the history of the performance appraisal process, which was fascinating to me. But I thought, that's not really in line with change management. Sometimes I want to talk about how life is confusing. And I'm like, wait, what are we doing? And why is this here? And does any of this matter? And then sometimes it feels like it does matter. And I want to talk about that. And then I think, well, you're gonna get overwhelmed. So like, just stick to one topic. But I can't stick to one topic. Back to the question of what should my YouTube persona be? And I have these thoughts, but I need to use my notes because they will come out more eloquently. Let's see what I wrote here. I don't know. Oh, and maybe it's premature to even think about a YouTube persona because this is my second video. Although I think it's helpful to give some thought to it. I wrote out what I want to do for my next 10 videos. And after I do those 10, maybe that'll give me an idea. The goal here is just to focus on quantity over quality. The idea is to get over his name is Ali. I can't remember his last name, but he's a popular YouTuber, and he talks about like how he grew his channel in 5 years. And what was the point there? Oh, he talks about this cringe factor where you want to get to the point where you can look at your videos and not cringe. But then I heard something else about, I can't remember where I heard this, but it's like whatever, instead of not cringing at things, you need to kill the part of you that cringes in the first place, which I thought was interesting. But that's a little bit outside of the scope of this video. Listen, I don't have any answers. This is new. And when you're starting things new, you're going to fail and you're going to practice, but that's a part of the process. And I have a message that I want to share with all of you, or any of you, or you who's watching this. And I'm going to have to read some of it because it's important and I wrote it down. You don't have to fit in a box. And this is also true for me. A job title or an interest doesn't define who you are. You are allowed to like lots of different things and to go wherever your curiosity leads you. I like change management and I like project management. And frankly, sometimes I'm embarrassed because they feel boring to talk about. And I'm like, what a fucking nerd you are. But it's what I like. And I joined the Association of Change Management Professionals, and then I rejoined the DC chapter of the Project Management Institute to be with other nerds who like to talk about these things. So maybe you're into something and you're like, this is stupid or boring or weird. It might be, or it might not be, but who cares? Because it's your life. Yeah. I saw something recently about like being a people pleaser, which I'm recovering from that. And it said that you spend so much time making sure other people are comfortable that you don't ever make sure that you're comfortable or something like that. And I was like, yeah, that's true for me. I am always thinking about other people and how they feel. And you can kind of get lost thinking in thinking about who you are and what you want to do if you're constantly thinking about being accepted. In closing, I want to encourage you to start something or restart something that you stopped. And maybe you're like me and you're really hard on yourself when you like have a goal and you don't reach it. Maybe you set your goals too high like me. But maybe you lose interest, or it's hard, or you're just like, oh, I don't fucking feel like doing it today. But that's part of the process. You can always start over. I mean, the only time you can't start over is when you're dead. So I think you could just always focus on starting over. And that's what I'm trying to do. People say this a lot, but there's a lot of us. I am a recovering perfectionist. And in some ways, I feel like I have a growth mindset. That means I see opportunities and I think I can learn and do things that I don't know how to do right now. But sometimes I think I have a fixed mindset because I'm afraid to try new things because I get my validation and value out of me being good at things. And nobody's good at everything when they start. And if I have to be bad at something, then I'm like, well, who am I if I'm not good at something? And that's not a productive place to be. What's the main idea I want to get across here? I don't have any answer to the question of what my YouTube persona will be. I know that I want it to be authentic and I guess I just don't know right now, and I will figure it out because that's really all you can ever do is to figure it out, right? Yeah. Okay. Let me tell y'all this because I thought this was interesting. AI can write. Like you can tell it like, hey, write something for me. And I had it write something I want to say in my videos, and I'm going to say it now. AI wrote this, but I might keep it. Thanks for joining me on this. Thanks for joining me on this journey of learning and growth. Subscribe. No, one thing I said is I was like, I don't ever want to tell people like, subscribe, turn on the notification. I fucking hate that in YouTube videos. I don't know why I do. I think it's me projecting like, oh my God, you're being so needy. Like, let people choose if they want to like something or subscribe to it. But sometimes, a lot of times when people say that, I don't. But sometimes people say subscribe. And then I'm like, yeah, because the content is helpful. Okay, let me finish this spiel. Subscribe. Actually, that doesn't feel natural for me. I'm looking forward to coming back in the next video, and I have an idea of what it is, but then I forgot. And so we're going to find out the next time I share. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah. I am making, it's Christmas Eve. It's Friday. And I'm making macaroni and cheese and baked chicken, barbecue baked chicken, and roasted broccoli. Like, this is the first time I'm making the broccoli and the chicken. The second time making the macaroni and cheese. Yeah, I have to have a better way to close these out. Yeah. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.